Well, obviously a big win for our football program, but we're trying to get our guys to understand that anytime you get into conference play, every game is big, no matter people's record, no matter their ranking. So what we really talked about all week long was just deserving to win. Do what it takes in film preparation, do what it takes in our walkthroughs and practices to feel like that. It's by far the best football game we've played in my time here at home, and that was one of the deals that I discussed with Zach earlier in the week. Just trying to, just make sure that I could do. I just wanted to do everything I could within my power to be able to give our guys. We got great support from Zach and Sam and Paul Weir. I mean, those guys to allow us to help get our guys prepared. That was big. And, man, it showed up in a big way today. I knew, I try not to put too much stock into one game because you see what happens in college football. I mean, it's there's so much inconsistency right now. I don't think in my entire 39-year career, I don't think I've ever seen it all the way across the board. I mean, from FBS all the way down to FCS, people play really well one week, and then the next week it's like, what happened? And we're just trying to avoid that. So we're trying to, hats off to my players. They were dialed in. I knew this morning at probably about 8:15, I could just tell there's something different about them. And the Idaho game hurt them. Going into that game, the way we had played the week before, I didn't feel like that we went into Idaho with a lot of confidence offensively, and it kind of showed up in the first half of that game. And then all of a sudden, we bust a couple of coverages on defense, and now we've dug ourselves a hole, but we come roaring back, and that's what gives me great confidence with this team. It doesn't matter. Nathan Brown, hats off to those guys. They have a great program, but he told me before the game, he goes, my goodness, he goes, you guys just never stop. And that's the best compliment that you can ever receive.
Today was the first day you really come out and gotten going offense.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, it's big. I mean, we knew that. I mean, I just told them, I said, every time they throw the ball, you're going to see me go tick mark, and because that means 27 didn't touch it. And, I'll be waking up tonight, just like jumping with him. I mean, he's scary. Golly. In all my years of coaching, I don't know if I've ever seen a guy that could just absolutely, from anywhere on the field, just one hesitation, one misfit, and that thing is going the distance. And, man, great respect for those guys. And, obviously relationship with Ken Collins, have nothing but respect for them, and they're going to be fine the rest of the year, I promise you. I'm just glad we don't have to tackle him again.
The atmosphere was incredible today. You got a nice home crowd, big win. This is a big program. You and I have talked about steps. This seems like another step into bringing ACU into the type of program you want it to be.
That's exactly right. I mean, I think we're expecting to win now. Where year one we were hoping that, I hope this goes well. Just in talking with Grant Boone the other day on Thursday, I mean, I told him, I said, I haven't talked to the team about this. I told the staff, this could be a signature win if we continue to improve as a football team. And you win a game like this, and all of a sudden your confidence can just go through the roof. And if we will just keep it as confidence and not let it become arrogance, pride always comes before the fall. So we just want to make sure that we stay focused on the task at hand, and all we're worried about, we'll correct the mistakes from this game, and then we will move on tomorrow night toward North Alabama and have nothing but respect for them. And they got a great coach, and they'll be well prepared. And we're just going to take them one at a time from here on out. And I think the difference with this team is, no disrespect, no disregard for Central Arkansas, but our kids expected to win today.
Yeah, and they should too, obviously. Abilene, we talked about it. They were the hub of college football today, and with Abilene, just the area, how big it is for this part of the state to be not only so good with college football now, but I did a thing with high school. They're the only town in top 10 on non-FBS rosters outside of DFW or Houston. Abilene's a hotbed for football.
That's exactly right. I mean, you look at what Coach is doing over at McMurray, and you look at Hardin Simmons. the recognition that both those teams have gotten this year, and now we've gotten some momentum going, and then and then we got great high school football in our own city with Jim Ned and Wiley and Cooper and Abilene High, and I mean it really is, and just this region in general. I mean, Big Country, man, what a great football region it is. Stephenville right down the road, and Brownwood. I mean, just a lot of history in this part of the state for football, and man, it feels good. We're not there yet, and our goal wasn't to beat Central Arkansas. Our goals are simple. We had to recalibrate, and we said, our goal was to go 5-0 at home, and we stumped our toe against Idaho. So we reset it, and we said, hey, we've got to go 4-1 at home now. And then if we'll do that, we'll position ourselves to be playing meaningful football in the month of November.
You've been touching on confidence, just how the team played today, looked very confident and assertive almost. Where do you attribute that confidence coming from in the last couple of weeks?
It really hasn't been the last couple of weeks, to be honest. To me, it's been something that people don't see what goes on in January at 6 a.m. in the morning, and kids up in the stadium running the stadiums, or you got Smooth out there hollering at them while I'm waiting for Summer Moon to open up, and I can hear him over here on the turf field at 5:30 in the morning. People don't really see all that. That's really where the confidence. And then I think that the piece when I took Lance's book on just the history of ACU football, man, what a great piece of writing that is. And it was the very first thing I did. I think Zach or somebody gave me a copy of that when I first got here, and I read the thing 2 or 3 times, and was fascinated with the history of ACU football. So I wanted my players to see the history and who they represent. We had a member last night speak and give a chapel from the 1973 National Championship team. To be able to, our kids to see me talk about it, and then to be able to meet these people who were a part of that history. Anytime that you can tie yourself to the past, to the men who came before you, that's what we've tried to do. And when you do that, you take a little bit more pride. You got a little bit more fight inside of you because you know that you represent something bigger than yourself.
Coach, you mentioned this was the best home game you've had in your tenure. With that being said, was this the most complimentary football you've ever seen out of your guys?
Yeah, I don't complimentary. I don't know, those first 2 runs, I was just going, geez, Louis, this could be a long day. I was just hoping that we didn't tie that 93 to 60 something win. That's kind of how it felt there for a minute. I was going, geez, this is going to be a long day. We just kept mixing it up enough, and I just kept telling them at halftime, guys, if we'll just swarm, if it's a bunch of one-on-one tackles, it's going to be a long day for us. But if we can get multiple people and create population to the ball carrier, we did that a little bit better in the second half. I mean, we didn't have any scout team running backs that quite could emulate that. We knew he was quick on video, but boy, you get out there, man, that thing, it's going quick. He's fast. Man, he's fast.
Maverick today would be the 8th all-time in ACU passing yards. What's your message to him?
Yeah, well, I would say congratulate the offensive line. I don't think they gave up a sack today to number 8, who had 20 sacks on the season, and he had, I don't know how many he had, but he's a result of a lot of those 20. So our offensive line didn't give up a sack, as far if I can remember that correctly, today. So hats off to our offensive line, and Maverick's just done a great job. Rick Bowie has done a great job of training Maverick, and he has become very. We had no turnovers, I don't think, did we? I don't think we had any turnovers today. So that was one of the keys to victory. We said we have to have 100% ball security today. Will got a turnover. We got the fumble on the backward, on the lateral. That was big. And then the 4th down stop was big, because that was when we forced and blocked the field goal. That was huge. I know the NCAA records don't count it, but we count that as 2. We took points off the board, and we gave the ball back to our offense. So we actually had 4 takeaways the way we measure. on defense. So it was complimentary football, you know, in a lot of regards. I mean, you know, I just don't like giving up cheap touchdowns, and if we can get that solidified here in the last 6 weeks, we're going to be a good football team.
You talked about Rick and what he's meant and brought, but before the season, you said if I could just get that, this is my offensive guy, right? Like now I had to turn my attention to offense and get it going, and it seems like you've got the staff part of it kind of figured out here.
Well, Zach and I drank a lot of coffee, and him sitting there saying, hey, it took Kyle Whittingham 3 times. And so, and this was my 3rd offensive coordinator. And I just knew that, hey, you know what? It was just a part of the decision for me to call the defense this year. And part of that was, you know, I just felt like that if to do that, I didn't want to put another young coordinator in a situation where we're playing fast, and guess what, you may play 17 possessions like we did last week. I'm good with that. I've done it my whole career, right? But and I'm comfortable with it, because all I know is I just got to get 3 turnovers. I got to get some stops here, and if we'll just keep scoring, we're going to be fine. And so, you know, I just kind of built my entire defensive philosophy around that, and you know, it's worked out.
Backfield today seemed like when Sam Hicks was getting stuck in that offensive line or the defensive line, Isaiah Johnson would jump right in and pick up where he left off. What did that mean?
Yeah, I mean, you know, our running backs they're all so different. Not one of them have the same skill set, and it's like changing pitchers in the middle of a game, right? Like you got somebody that's throwing really hard, and then all of a sudden you got a guy coming in here throwing knuckleballs, and we got a fastballer and a knuckleballer, it looks like. But you know, they do a great job. Isaiah is just I can't say enough for what kind of young man. I've been watching him since he was a sophomore in high school at Lubbock Cooper, and man, I'm so proud of him and Sam Hicks. I mean, just such a humble, just an unbelievable teammate, unbelievable player, and has big play capability.